Howdy, howdy. We are live on a New York Comic Con weekend to talk about the Star Trek Universe panel today at the convention.
I
So,
know, maybe my friend had planned that wedding better. Maybe I should have been in New York this weekend.
yeah, you were just up there.
Yeah. I was thinking about, I like went in between two events in New York. There was like the 2 weekends before, and I was like, I was like, I should have planned that better.
Funny. I should I guess share this on the socials that we are live.
Yes.
So, let me do that. But Rachel, you did do some Star Trekky stuff while you were in New York, right?
Well, one thing, it's now not sitting next to me. It's on that shelf somewhere. I wore my Star Trek dress one day just because it's cute and I wanted to. But when one day we were in, my friends and I went to the drama bookstore, which is just a store that has a lot of like plays and books to do with theater. And they had Patrick Stewart's new autobiography there, and they had a signed edition of it. And the way it was like in there must be like a print run that has like he signed
When did that book come out? Like when was it released?
like the week that I was in New York.
Right, it just came out a few days ago.
Yeah, so it looked like what it must have been done is that there was a print run where they just gave him, I can't think of the word for it, but basically they gave like an author a stack of papers and be like, sign these and we will put them in the book. So that's what he touched that piece of paper. I don't think he touched the actual book that I had. Um but it was really cool because I was really not expecting that. And
Yeah,
then
that
I
is cool.
I
And he
talked
and he
a,
called he
I
called the book "Making It So" or
yeah,
"Engaging" or something. What
it's
is it
called
called?
making it
Making It
so.
So. Okay.
Yes, Aaron, book plates. That is exactly the word I was thinking of and couldn't.
But yeah, that sounds cool. The panel today, I don't know if it would have been like worth like sticking around New York for an extra week because they didn't really give
I
us much, did
No,
they?
I feel like with the strikes, I feel like there's maybe not. Oh, there just hasn't been anything
There
filming.
wasn't time to get anything
Yeah,
together.
and I bet they're like if they're gonna do like a big thing, then maybe they're waiting to be like, wouldn't it be cooler if we can wait a little bit and have actors to do this?
Yeah. Yeah, they weren't able to have any actors there to promote anything. I thought that because Alex Kurtzman and Mike McMahon were there, I thought that
Mhm.
they would be, doing something. I
Yeah.
actually was kind of thinking like, are they going to give us like a Lower Decks trailer or something? Like there's not many
Yeah.
episodes left, so they probably don't want to spoil anything for later in
I
season 4 of
know.
Lower Decks. So,
And Kid Cudi was there, which was
yeah, Kid Cudi was there
yeah,
because they couldn't have they probably would have preferred to have, Star Trek actors there,
yeah.
but since that's not a
Which it's
possibility.
funny. I guess maybe because he whatever Kid Cudi's doing, what he's promoting is not because Kid Cudi would definitely be part of SAG. Like I've seen him in things where he's just an actor. Just I was like, I don't understand how like the different rules like work.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't know he had ever done any
Yeah.
acting work, but
I the only like on the top of my head, I know he's in an episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like early Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but that's like that because that's a show I enjoy that I knew he was in it. I've heard the audiobook for Making It So is good. I currently have it on hold from the library, but for some reason my library didn't have it right away, and now I'm like in a line waiting for it. Because I'm saying that. Um, I know it's some of the Kid Cudi clothing looks cool, but I just assume I can't afford any of it.
I didn't even look at the prices of anything. I like the shirts and I liked the jacket, but it's like, yeah, I know I'm not going to be able to afford any of this.
I
And
I I also okay. I don't actually. I think the jacket's cool. I think I'd probably like that jacket more if there was another version of it with a cut more meant for a traditional like feminine body. Because I feel like that probably wouldn't fit me that well.
yeah, I guess like the style with varsity jackets is that
Mm.
like I think the mentality is that like they're always like they do
Yeah,
like that standard male design.
They always those type of jackets always look super boxy on me and
Yeah.
make me look.
I think they're supposed like it's supposed
Yeah,
to look like a girl wearing a boy's jacket,
yeah.
which I guess that can be that
I guess that's
there's
a look.
issues with that in and of itself. There's kind of issues to unpack out of
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
But heteronormity
Mm.
is weird at
I mean, I guess I
times.
do like oversized. I'm wearing an oversized cardigan right now, but
And a
um,
Triskelion shirt, so that's
yeah,
cool.
I threw
I'm
that
wearing
on.
my Ritos shirt,
That would have been my Rito. I think my Rito shirt is in the laundry. So,
which it's not like I put this on for because I was doing the stream or anything. It's
hmm
just I've been home all day. I'm in my pajamas. I
I'll
slept with the shirt last night after the Tex-Trek stream, so
I'll admit I threw this on. I was just wearing a plain. I've been cleaning, and so the shirt I was wearing was kind of like dirty. Well, I was cleaning, and then was watching Eclipse stuff earlier, so it had like grass stains on it. I realized, and I was like, oh, maybe not.
but was there anything else that stood out today during the
Um,
panel to you?
I mean, we knew Prodigy was coming back, but it was nice,
Yeah.
like, actually getting like Alex Kurtzman talking about it for a little bit. It felt nice, them acknowledging that like the fan support had like a
Yes,
lot to do
that
with it.
was yeah, I'm glad that he pointed that
Yeah.
out that this happened because of us, because of the audience, because of the fans. So
Mm-hmm. They called out the airplane. I I feel like that's always gonna feel good. They're like, I don't know, our fans paid for an airplane. Like,
yeah, they're weirdos. They do a
yeah.
lot of weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
um,
I think the weirdos that are on your side are the good weirdos to have.
for sure. Uh, but as far as like, I guess Star Trek in and of itself news, as
Mm-hmm.
far as like shows and movies and like
Yeah.
actual like canonical content goes,
Mm-hmm.
they really just said that like, hey, Lower Deck season 5 will go to Orion
Yeah.
again, and oh yeah, the Michelle Yeoh Section 31
Mm-hmm.
movie is still happening,
Mm-hmm.
and the Academy
Yeah.
Starfleet Academy writers room has already gotten back to work.
I
So
think that is. I do. I think that is a nice way to put it. They're like, yep, like we're getting back. We're getting back to it. We're. I was hoping that maybe, they were gonna like announce some kind of lower decks merchandise or something, just because it was like that was like the one thing that seemed to be going on. Is like kind of the one thing they could talk about. I
yeah,
mean,
and
they could talk
with
about
Mike
Prodigy.
with Mike McMahon being there though, I thought
Yeah.
there was going to be something big for.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it's such a weird time period right now, just coming out of the strikes, with one
Yeah.
strike still
Mm-hmm.
one strike is still going on.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to last much longer. I think we're in the final weeks
Mm-hmm.
of that strike, but it's just a weird time for like I feel like a lot of decisions aren't being made. I guess some are. Like they've decided like okay, we're still moving forward with the Starfleet Academy show, so
Yeah.
they're back to work at that.
I guess it probably helps that as far as obviously I don't know any more than anyone else. The way it sounds like they're talking, they're just writing it right now. They don't like necessarily have a cast even yet to be filming anything.
They haven't done casting.
Yeah.
According to people up in Toronto that are
Mhm.
watching this type of stuff, it does look like they're doing some pre-production.
Mhm.
Like they're going to be shooting there, and they're also gearing up for the Section 31 movie. So that
Mhm.
should the Section 31 movie should like as soon as the strike ends, I think like okay, within a month that Section 31 movie cameras will be rolling. I guess they don't roll anymore, but cameras will be recording digital
I
footage.
think it will either be one of the month or they never actually finished filming Wicked. So Michelle Yeoh has to go do that.
You know,
That
that's going to be a scheduling thing because I know
yeah.
like they had her booked for
Mhm.
they've had her booked for Section 31 like for a while. Like it was kind of
The because the Wicked movie has been like Wicked is celebrating its 20th anniversary this month. And so I've been waiting for a Wicked movie for like about that long. And so when it
for
like
the
didn't
majority of your life.
for the majority of my life. And so when the movie didn't quite finish filming and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like
You're just gonna have to wait a little bit
Yeah.
longer. And they're
But
also delaying a lot of stuff, so that's another
mhm.
reason why we're not getting announcements, because it's
Yeah.
like I think one of the reasons why we haven't gotten a second Discovery trailer and why we haven't even gotten a release date
Mhm.
is because like I think they don't know. They don't know like
Yeah.
when they're going to be shooting. They don't know when they're going to have more stuff in production. Like they're probably thinking, how long should we hold on to
Mhm.
Disco season 5? Because currently that's the only live action Star Trek that's in the can is
Yeah.
Disco season 5. So as soon as that's out, like
And I
there ain't no more until they
and
start
I
making more.
bet with their feeling with this being the final season of Discovery, it would be pretty anticlimactic to have to put it out and not being able to have the actors do any promo for it.
Yeah, they were talking about like their big like world tour that they're gonna do.
Mhm.
Like before the strikes, they talked about they were going to do a lot of events with like the
Mhm.
actors at like physical events doing things.
Oh my
But
god.
then the actors went on strike, so none of that happened.
Yeah. I'm sure they still want to do that. I think I'm. This is me speculating, but I'm sure Alex Kurtzman, like Discovery in a lot of ways, is his baby, and I'm sure he wants it
It
to
is,
have
yeah.
like a big send off, the way that like it should. Like it's the show that brought like Star Trek back to TV. Um, I here I was because someone was saying 20 years Wicked crazy when I saw Wicked when I was in New York, and they have a special playbill for the 20 years of Wicked. That is
Nice.
mine.
So it's like a 20th anniversary production that's going on.
No, well, it's just never stopped. It's
Oh,
been on Broadway for 20 years.
I didn't know that it had been like uninterrupted for that long. That's crazy.
Yeah. Actually, one of the reasons I have put off seeing it on Broadway because I'm like, it's always going to be there. But after Phantom of the Opera closed, I was like, oh shit, long running shows can close. I should go see it. Um, what I like, I'm really looking forward to the Academy show because it's something I've always wanted. And with Tawny Newsom being involved, I'm like, ooh, that makes me more excited about the tone.
Yes, which I guess someone mentioned that today because I saw Trek Central tweeted like breaking news: Tawny Newsom's
I saw
in
that.
the writers' room,
I was
and
like, I that wasn't secret information.
yeah, no, she talked about that before. It was fun listening to Alex Kurtzman talk about the reason why he hired her for that show. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if people heard of this story, but when they were shooting the crossover, the Strange New Worlds Lower Decks crossover, those old scientists, she was improvising a lot. So, when Alex Kurtzman was like watching the dailies when they were editing that episode, and he was probably, like, oh, I'm real curious, what they're doing. So he might have been
Mm-hmm.
paying more attention than usual with the,
Mm-hmm.
crossover, but he was watching all these outtakes or all these different takes they did, and he was like, "Oh, Tawny is funny. She's coming up with
Yeah.
all this clever stuff on the
Mm-hmm.
spot." So he's like, "Yeah, send me everything you've ever written. I want to hire you as a writer." So I thought that was cool.
That is also it's just cool in multiple ways to me. Like I like that he like it wasn't something that she didn't go to him to ask that. He just was like
Yeah,
looking out for the people that work for him. Like he's her boss. Like um it yeah, it's just kind of I don't. Is there anything people would want us to talk about? Because there is. Yeah, I guess there's like not a lot on this panel. I think that's the vibe.
I had a list of a few
Yeah,
things to go through,
yeah.
but um, I
Hmm.
just going back to the what were we just talking about? The Trek. What was the thing that Trek Central reported that I said was?
Oh,
Oh, the
Tawny
Tawny
Newsom.
Tawny knew something.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, I lost the
Yeah.
lost my train of thought there, but I think that is going to be exciting going into the show, like knowing that we're gonna have some cool like Tawny Newsom dialogue in there. It's
Hmm.
like I look forward to watching that show and like hearing some like clever line of dialogue and being like, oh, I wonder if that was a Tawny Newsom line.
I like at least because she's so active on Twitter. Like normally would like be talking about shows more to be like, hey, I could imagine tweeting at her like, hey, did you write that? Like, I want to know.
I don't see her very
Mhm.
active on Twitter. Does she tweet a lot?
I would say normally. I think less so right now with the strikes. It's like a weird. position.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
I did see her say something about being frustrated with like,
mhm.
yeah, I wish I could talk about this, but I can't.
Yeah, I think she would have talked about the crossover more if
Yeah,
she could have.
which
Um,
I guess she still can't talk about. She can talk about her lower decks work, but she can't talk about her live action work
yeah,
because the crossover is struck work, but
the
lower decks
crossover
isn't.
is. Um,
I get why these actors get so frustrated with like having to deal with all these hoops they
yeah,
have to jump through to follow the rules, but it's obviously a worthy cause. But I get why it's irritating to them. So
I get. It's
hats off to
also
them for doing it.
confusing. Like, oh, at some point, I apparently told Robert Ricardo that animation wasn't struck, and he was like, "It's not." And he was like, "I need to check." I was like, "Check." "Don't." I was like, "Don't get in trouble. Like, check with someone." But like, that's what I read. Like,
Yeah, but he doesn't do like a lot of voice work. He's normally
no, I don't think
a
so.
screen actor. So
Because he had expressed that he was frustrated. This was at Vegas that he couldn't like tweet about him being in Prodigy, and I was like, "You actually?" I was kind of like, "Check with your like representatives. You might be able to." And he was like, "I'll check on that." And I think he did later, so I guess he must have checked with someone.
nice. Well, thanks for informing the doctor.
Yeah.
Someone had to do it.
hmm Um, but oh, is the Academy? I think that the Academy series is a Disco spinoff from the description of it.
That's still been unconfirmed, but I think
Yeah.
it is extraordinarily likely that it is the
Yes.
32nd century.
hmm
We can just assume that it's gonna
Yeah.
be 32nd century. Any of those disco people, I think it'll be. I mean, for all we know, Mary Wiseman might be the lead on it. That's what some
hmm
people were speculating. I don't know if that's true, but she would be a possible
Yeah.
character on there with her like the Academy storyline they gave her. It looked like they were trying to
hmm
like build that in the same way that they were able to spin Pike and Spock off into their own
hmm
show or Section 31
Into
movie spin-off
yeah, in the
thing.
movie. I it's funny because it's funny because I had always imagined an Academy show, and I always imagined it during like around the era like Picard is happening because I was like all the guest lecturers could be all the like Berman era
Right.
actors like,
Yeah,
but
and
holograms exist, so I they could still do that if they wanted to.
I think that the Academy show though being in the 32nd century that allows someone to do something else in the 25th century.
That's
Eventually
true.
we'll get a follow-up to Picard. Picard
Yeah.
season 3 was one of the rare Paramount Plus shows that were in the Nelson
hmm
top 10. So they're definitely going to follow something like every
Oh
executive at
yeah.
Paramount is like, why don't we do something like Picard season 3 again? That
hmm
that was good. Like that's better than all this other stuff. Let's do that.
hmm
That's what getting the eyeballs. That'll get us some money. It'll make us money. So it will happen. It's just kind of a
Yeah.
question of when. But
It would be interesting now with the writer's strike over if there's more maybe pitching going on for that kind of thing. But
yeah, I mean
mhm.
they're at a point now where they can't see. That's why I'm saying like it is
Mhm.
like really weird.
Yeah.
It's not too shocking, I guess, that there wasn't more news. I mean it's still like a little disappointing. they,
Mhm.
they could have done. I feel like I've named several things they could have
Yeah.
done, but there's so much
Bring
that's
them.
still up in the
They.
air.
What if they like come out and we're like, we have a Murph flush? That would be the best news.
Well, they had one at New York Comic Con last year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. What if they were like, we're actually gonna sell this thing?
the only time there was ever one anywhere. So
Um. Still, well, I need them to make one that I can just buy because I don't have that one.
but yeah, I see a boat wreck. Hey PJ, I see he was asking if the
Yeah.
Academy series is a disco spinoff, and um there people are talking about that setting, uh
Yeah.
the post burn, all that stuff. So
hmm
that's I feel like it's probably a good idea to do a show there, or otherwise people are going to be wondering, well, I wonder what's going on in the 32nd century after all that stuff, after
They're like,
Disco season
there
5.
was like there's a
But
lot going on over there. I'm like, what's going on?
I kind of like Prodigy touching base with like the Delta Quadrant a little bit because I'd kind of miss it,
hmm
if like if we never acknowledged any of those races again.
Yeah.
So it's just for me, Star Trek is kind of like the main setting of Star Trek is the Federation or near the Federation, and during like the 22nd and 23rd century, or the
hmm
23rd and 24th, I guess. So whenever we get away from that, like Voyager, like there's some Voyager stories I love, but they matter to the universe so much less, and it's kind of the same
Mm-hmm.
way with Discovery being. Maybe that's why I like every Star Trek show, but like the three that I like the least are Enterprise, Discovery, and Voyager, and I think part of that is because they're removed from that primary setting in the 23rd, 24th century in and near the Federation. I like part of the appeal of Star Trek to me is the large shared universe. And
Mm-hmm.
so when you remove things out of that, I it has less of that Star Trek appeal for me.
I can definitely see that. Oh, it's funny. Some of my favorite Voyager episodes are ones where they found ways to like incorporate other Star Trek stuff in, like,
Yeah. Like
um,
Message in a Bottle, for example, when the
mm-hmm.
Doctor goes to the Prometheus and meets
Oh,
Andy Dick.
oh my God, I can't. I totally forgot the name. The episode with Barkley, and the like at the end ends with them finally getting um like first contact with Voyager.
Oh,
There's like,
yeah. I
is
can't
it
think of it
Pathfinder?
either.
Is that in
I think
Pathfinder?
so, yeah. There
Yeah,
there was an episode called Pathfinder, but I know they have like
that
that
I
Pathfinder
want to say
initiative or
that
whatever.
scene is my favorite scene of Voyager. Uh, that one, it is very cathartic. And also, Robert Duncan McNeil does a really good job, despite them giving no dialogue to him.
Oh yeah,
For
it's
like,
very well, I like how it's very like downplayed. It's
yeah,
like because that would be such like a weird awkward
hmm,
moment in real life. Like people do like freeze up
yeah,
and pause like that. Like
hmm,
it rang true. It rang very
yeah.
true in my
But I
opinion.
was like, yeah, I feel like he did a really good job when being like, he would have an emotional reaction to hearing his dad's voice, like,
Yeah.
um, it's yeah, and it's just like, yeah, just it's such an earned moment, I think, because it's so long into the series.
Yeah, I like that they and I remember at the
Mhm.
time, I remember people complaining about like why is Voyager like talking to the Federation and stuff. Like they're like
It's like 5 seasons
yeah,
in.
I was like, don't y'all
Like,
want them to get home eventually? I kept waiting for them to get home. I was like, I want them to get back to the Federation, and
I
I thought it was weird people complained.
when Picard first started airing, my friend was still watching Voyager and said, "Can I watch the TNG movies and not be spoiled for anything?" And then for like the one stuff I haven't seen, I said, I said, there's kind of a Voyager cameo in the last one. I said, and he said, it's the only, and I said, really? And he said, he's like, what does it really spoil about Voyager? I was like, honestly, this is what they get back. And he was like, well, I didn't assume Voyager had a really depressing ending, so he was like, I kind of assumed they got back eventually.
Yeah, the reason why Netflix reported that I think Star Trek Voyager's Endgame is the
Mm-hmm.
most streamed episode of Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's because people are just like, I want to see how they get home. I'm just gonna watch the last episode.
Yeah,
Because
I
why
can
else
see
would
that.
people jump to it? Like that of all the hundreds of Star Trek episodes that were on Netflix, why would people just jump to that one? You
That's
know?
it's yeah, that's totally, because I was like, I would expect it to be like something like Trouble with Tribbles, where it's just
Yeah,
like, oh,
that people just rewatch a lot. Yeah,
yeah,
like no one's ever like, hey, we should rewatch Endgame. I haven't. I mean, like I love Endgame. I watch it like every year. I watch Endgame at least one time. You know, I love it. I like it. I'm sure that because I've said that on
yeah.
the internet, now someone is going to be like,
I
actually,
like
I watch it every year.
I
So
like
cool. I'm
certain
glad you do. But
scenes. I think I'm more likely to go. There's certain scenes I like a lot from Endgame. I think I'm more. It would be more likely for me to go to YouTube and rewatch those scenes than be like, I'm gonna put the entire like two-parter on.
there are some neat scenes in there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's pretty much it though, as far as like shows. Like we got the Academy Writers Room. Orion and Lower Deck season 5 technically counts as news, I guess.
Yeah,
And
that's
the
cool.
Section 31 movie about to start shooting.
Maybe Boimler and Rutherford will actually get to go this time.
Oh yeah, they should do it the opposite, where they get to go and the girls don't, and
Mm-hmm.
then they can be like,
It'd be really
"Oh,
funny if
we
they
had a
don't.
cool
It'd be
pirate
really funny if
adventure."
they don't bring Tendi.
Yeah, and then like they'd probably be like in over their heads.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a better story
Mm-hmm.
if they do go without Tindy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, I'd be down for that. But I guess Who was the star of the panel then? The Kid Cudi, I guess clothing line and video
Yeah.
game character.
Video game, apparently a music video, I think. It was nice hearing him talk about in the video talk about watching Star Trek with his dad. I found that
Hmm.
sweet and relatable.
Yeah, a lot of people, I guess, watch Star
Mhm.
Trek with their
Yeah.
family.
Mhm.
That was never like my experience with it. I was always just kind of watching by myself.
Mhm.
But can y'all um
The
there's
koala.
the I guess this is Kid Cudi's character for is it Fortnite is the game that they're putting him in.
I think it is Fortnite.
So
Um
he's gonna be he's a character called Captain Skiles, and who has
yes.
like a Strange New Worlds captain uniform, and I
I
guess this
think
is
he
his
said
like
something
mirror
the
universe
captain's last
version.
name is something is like
It
his
was his
dad's middle
dad's
name.
middle name, yeah,
Yeah,
because
and
his
I was
dad
like,
was a big
yeah.
Trekkie. But yeah, so we got a
I
Kid
am
Cudi
curious.
song, and
Are any of the prices of any of the clothing there? Because I'm curious how much they are.
yeah, the shirts and the varsity jacket, and well, let's go to the shop and
Mm-hmm.
see what the actual damage is. But that was it was interesting. It was actually Aaron who pointed it out to us. He
Mm-hmm.
recognized that the graphics on those shirts, they're pulling things from some of the old Gold Key comics, which were, people who don't know, those were
No,
the first ever
I.
licensed Star Trek comics when Star Trek, like when the original series was still being made, and people didn't really like Star Trek. They were still trying to figure it out at the time, and so like those comics are just
Mm-hmm.
bonkers. There's like the big famous detail that is so wrong, but they just didn't know better, I guess. But the Enterprise has like fire that comes out of the back of the nacelles, like it's like rockets,
Wait, is
like it's
that
being rocket
the
propelled.
one where like Ahura is really like wrong?
Uhura, I think, was white in an
Yes,
issue.
that's
Yeah,
what
she
I
was
was
like
thinking.
colored incorrectly. Like they colored her as
Like
like
a
a white
blonde
woman.
lady.
Yeah. I will Google the Kid Cudi clothing line.
Mm-hmm.
But he made a Star Trek song called Heaven's Galaxy that I listened to it twice, I guess. I thought it was okay, but I can't like I've already forgotten it both
Oh, I didn't
times.
realize it was like out yet. I'll have to listen to it.
Yeah. Um but I feel like a lot of his, I don't know. I feel like his music isn't as popular now as it was like 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But the only one of his songs that just comes to me off the top of my head is like that Day and Night song.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
like day and night. Da, da, da. I probably don't know any of the other lyrics,
Mm-hmm.
but it has his beats are. I don't know if he produces his own beats, but whoever makes his beats does a good job. But
Mm-hmm. I think he does, from what I understand. I'm
I
like
think
not.
so.
Yeah, from what I understand, like Kid Cudi is like a celebrity. My thought process is, oh, he's cool. Like like I don't know a ton about him, but everything I hear about him, he seems like a cool dude. Like
But the sites are reporting on this
okay,
Kid Cudi
apparently
boldly
I
be
think
fashion line.
Aaron, are we saying that is the one who got Ahora's race wrong? The Peter Pan records.
Yeah, that's what Aaron was saying. But I
Okay.
think Gold Key did too at one point in time.
Apparently, apparently Kokio is what a low bar we have.
Okay. So they were getting it right. Okay, so that's good
Yeah.
to know. But yeah, it was the picture books then with the
Hmm.
records.
Oh, I
But
think
yeah, we were
I
talking about that
haven't. Mine's
recently.
shrink wrapped, but I have one of those, so I'll have to open it. I found it at Half Price Books, and it was still shrink wrapped. So, which is nice because it probably means that record will. A lot of times you get older records and you put them in, and you're like, these are not. These skip now.
So I'm seeing if I can find what this stuff actually cost.
Oh, they also, I don't even think they did this at a panel, but they showed one of the Hallmark ornaments for 2024 is going to be like Pike in the captain's chair.
Yeah, they had that. They have
Hmm.
the good and bad
The
badgies.
badgie.
That the Hallmark stuff on display. Look, they were doing a lot this year. I think they had 4 ornaments.
I think the Pike one they said is for next year, which makes sense because it was just like a cardboard prototype. It wasn't the actual one. Oh yeah, they have the hand, and then there's just one that's like a little version of the Enterprise. I'll definitely get the badgie in the hand. I don't know. I feel like I have a lot of ornaments that are just the Enterprise. Um, me, Enterprise ornaments from Hallmark are like for Wizard of Oz. Like every year, it's like here's another ornament that's a version of the ruby red slippers.
Well, let's say another Wizard of Oz tie-in for you as a big fan of that film. Or the would you say you're more of a fan of the film or the book or both?
Wizard of Oz, I like the book, but like the movie is what like captured my imagination. It's like I like the book. The movie is my favorite movie. Um, I'm like literally look on Twitter to be like, is there anything we missed to talking about?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out where do I even go to buy these t-shirts and varsity jacket. I'm just like Googling like Boldly Bee. I can't even find like the online store. So
That's how you know it's too expensive for us. We can't even figure out how to buy it. The fact that we have to hunt down the stuff.
yeah.
I guess that's somewhat normal. You have like stuff that's like exclusive to different stores, but like I don't know. Star Trek stuff is so hard to find to begin with. Sometimes it's like just put them on the website.
Um.
Are they not
Yeah. I don't
available
know. I
yet?
don't see a link to it, so I'm just gonna assume that it's not a.
Oh wait, I found it on his website. Okay, so I know how much the jacket is.
Okay. Send me a link to it
I will.
in the private chat.
I do you want to try and guess how much that jacket is?
I should put a picture of it on screen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's right here. So if people want to check this out, um,
I will say
okay, can y'all see that?
yep.
This is the jacket.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna guess this jacket cost. I'm gonna say it's expensive. I don't know how much like an expensive varsity jacket. I'm gonna guess hundreds of dollars. I don't know how many. Um,
Oh, I'll give that hundreds of dollars is correct.
okay. So somewhere in between 200 and 1,000. So I'll just meet in the middle and say $600. How much
Well,
is it?
it's technically half of that. It's $300.
Okay. But
I
that's still a lot.
not buying it. But that's
Yeah, I would pay like 80, maybe like 120,
I would pay
but
like I would pay
not
$100 for that jacket. Like
not going over 200 for this.
um that
And the other thing is like it would look cool if someone like made this, but I don't know, like
mm-hmm.
buying it from a store where they're like you're gonna go to a Star Trek convention and there's gonna be like 12 other people with like the same
Oh
jacket and it's
yeah.
like if I thought I was gonna be like the only person wearing it, maybe I'd pick it
Oh
up,
yeah,
but
that's like I remember thinking, oh, I'm glad I didn't that like her universe. I'm not saying her universe is cheap, but her universe compared to this is not this expensive. Like, and that dress, yeah, that the like 50 style dress. I wasn't shocked that I saw a bunch of people wearing it, but it would be like that.
yeah, so he'll say he'd rather buy a case of Chateau Picard, and we all know how
Yeah.
terrible that wine is. So if you'd rather spend your money on that god
Yeah.
awful wine, that's saying something.
I'd rather buy the like full price Strange New Worlds jacket. And that is pretty expensive.
Okay, so let's look at the rest of the stuff we got here.
I am so confused by this Deep Space Nine sweatshirt because is that his character on it?
Okay, so let's look at the rest of the stuff
Oh
we
wait.
had here.
I am so confused by this Deep Space
Oh,
Nine.
I think you
Sorry, that was the wrong
the
link.
screen share
I just
B.
created a subspace anomaly.
I was like, why do I hear my voice?
I copied and pasted the wrong
The
link.
wrong link.
So
Yeah.
that was the link from earlier when I shared our stream on Twitter. This is the one I meant to paste. But so we got a Beam Me Up Scotty shirt. This one ain't bad. I'd wear this. $45. That's kind of pricey, but that's not too bad.
It's 45's not. It's not the. You know what? That costs as much as like band tees cost, like these days. So I'm not mad at that. I don't love. This is just me critiquing the website. I wish there was just a piece of one of them that was just a close up of the this art on the shirt. It's just kind of hard, like less than this one, for that Deep Space Nine one. I find it kind of hard to like look at it.
The Defiant tee is this Kid Cudi?
Yes.
Or is that Avery Brooks?
I think that's Kid Cudi, right?
Oh yeah, it's labeled Kid Cudi. But like he put himself like on top of the Defiant and under the Star Trek logo and like the Deep Space Nine font, like
So it makes
it's supposed to have like a Deep Space Nine tie-in. Yeah, like it kind of does have like that like Cisco in the wormhole, kind of like the celestial being type vibe. But I guess I guess he wanted to like label himself as that dude.
Well, so there was a different Deep Space Nine one that I was looking at that I still think
If that had Avery Brooks on it, I would buy it. But I don't know. I don't really listen to Kid Cudi's music, so I don't know if I need like a shirt of him. This is the weird one. So this was the one that Aaron, who's in the live audience, I know he's feeling under the weather right now. Had his shots yesterday, and now he's unfortunately sick. But he recognized this as one of the Gold Key comic covers. Just to give you an idea how wacky the Gold Key stuff was. Why is this woman in like a green dress? Like knowing those comics, she's probably a Starfleet officer, and she's in a green uniform for some reason, with blue leggings. But yeah, that's from a Gold Key comic.
That's for Aerosol Hill. I'm not saying I'm going to buy a $45 t-shirt. Maybe if this stuff ever goes on sale, but.
Oh, look at this. Okay, instead of a t-shirt, we have like I don't know, it's almost kind of like a Hawaiian shirt. I guess it is, because it has like these leaves and stuff.
I feel like I could find old Star Trek fabric and make that for less than $100. Oh, I guess there's something on the back.
My friend Brian has some homemade Star Trek shirts that have some interesting patterns on them. So what all are they using here? We got is that supposed to be? I guess this is from Gold. Oh yeah, it literally says Gold Key right here. This comic book cover. I'm like, I guess this is a Gold Key comic too.
Maybe liked the Gold Key comic art.
Yeah, like maybe
Which
like
I kind of get.
Kid Cudi's dad was just like a big fan of the Gold Key comics, and like Kid Cudi thinks this is all Star Trek is these Gold Key comics. I think we figured it out. Yeah. He's like, yeah, my dad loved this stuff so much. He had bought every issue.
I honestly could just see him thinking like, this art's cool. Like,
I think that's a lot of what it is. I mean, the stuff is kind of colorful and bombastic. So,
like, I get this one. Before.
Okay, this one's $150. So.
I wish there was some art that was like a little closer. Yeah, to do that. So the one on the like center, like the one right next to Kira, that's him, right?
That does appear to be Kid Cudi in a Deep Space Nine. Yeah. I guess he's cosplaying as Captain Sisko.
Mm-hmm. Well, Avery Brooks is on this shirt because Sisko's on the other side of Kira.
Well, he's labeled as is he labeled as Captain Skiles on there? So
that's what I was trying to see, but because of the way this is the one that was frustrating me because I was like, I want a better like just cutout of the art for me to look at.
And it's like I always say, whenever people make these fan films,
Hmm.
and God bless them, a lot of them do really good work. Some more so than others, but everyone who makes a fan film, they always like whoever's like the lead dude behind the project makes himself as the captain. Like he just wants to like
Hmm.
cosplay as a cap, which I get it. There's nothing wrong with that. It's fun to be the captain of a starship,
I
but
I was
it's like kind
like,
of like
I
that same
understand
thing.
that as a deep personal level, but
It feels like that. This kind of feels like Kid Cudi's wish fulfillment of like I'm gonna
yeah.
be a Star Trek captain, like my
Is
dad always wanted to be.
is that Jadzia on the other side of him?
It is. So we got
Okay.
Jadzia, or Captain Skiles, Major Kira,
Like, if
and
this was
Captain
a bunch
Sisko.
of pictures of the actual Deep Space Nine characters, I would be into this.
And then I guess this is on the back.
Yeah. I don't
And it's like
necessarily.
like the blueprints. It's like Rick Sternbach's
Yeah.
design of DS9 or something. Yeah,
Like,
they were pulling the graphics from interesting places.
The back, Actually, the back I don't hate, even, like. It's like. He's kind of hard to. It's, like, not as, like. Even though I do know that's an art of him, it's not as, like. Look, it's Kid Cudi.
I don't want it for $150, but I do
No.
like
Oh,
the
no, no, no.
Defiant and Runabout on here. This one is growing on me the longer I look at it.
I'm not buying any of these today. Like I said, maybe one day there will be a sale, or one day these will end up at a thrift store.
And then we got these two hoodies.
Yeah. Wait, what
So
is on the? What the hell is that?
Spock saying live long and prosper in front of
Okay.
a ringed planet.
It like looked like it almost looked like his body was supposed to be the live long and prosper. Like,
That's disturbing. Like he melted or something.
yeah,
Oh, and then Kid Cudi's on this one
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Is he on the
Aaron,
back or something?
this is what I was thinking. That's like this is what I was.
Spock's head on a skateboard. Yeah, it kind of
Yeah,
looks like that.
live.
So on the back you got Kid Cudi, on the front you got Spock. Okay.
Wait, what does it say on the back?
Live long and rage.
Okay.
It's like the opposite of prosper,
Yeah.
but cool.
How much is the hoodie? So
150, I believe.
okay, so all the long sleeve
Yeah.
is 150.
Well, and the jacket is 300,
Mm-hmm. Which is
which sounds a lot better if you say 600 first. No, 300.
that's
So
true. I will say there is like I've definitely seen designers. This is kind of the norm for designer stuff. That being said, I don't own ton of designer stuff.
I like this one so far. This
I
Deep
like
Space Nine
that one's.
sweater.
I'm still not buying it for $150, but
Ooh, and it says property of USS Defiant on it. Yeah, I think I actually would approve of everything on this one and
mm-hmm.
want to wear it, but I don't want to pay $150
Yeah.
for it. I would pay 50 if we could like
Mm-hmm.
slice that down to a third.
I there are very few things I would pay that much to wear. Um, and usually they are like nice dresses, like not what looks to be a fairly average like quality sweatshirt.
Yeah, normally the most expensive things that I wear are like, I don't know, blue jeans. Like I buy I
I
buy cheap clothes. I buy cheap button-up shirts and
I wouldn't say I cheap is not true, but I buy stuff on sale a lot. I'm trying to think of the most expensive thing. I looked at a dress for a year in love with it at $90 and waited for it to go on sale. Like I and that's still one of my favorite dresses. I ended up getting it for like 80, which wasn't that much of a sale, but it was I was willing to pay $90 for it after like still wanting it after a year. But that's how long I'll look at something to decide whether I want it or not.
well, I was telling someone the other day how like it pays to be a patient person. So
Mhm.
yeah, maybe some of the stuff will get
Yeah.
cheaper. But yeah, I guess
I
of everything on there, I think the Gold Key comic shirt. I guess I should pull it back up. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you saying?
uh, um No, it's like, and it's these. Some of these T-shirts, I feel like, they're not that unique. I will, I'll say that about the jacket's pretty unique. I'll say that about it. And
Yeah,
like,
so we have 8 items. I agree
yeah,
with you. The jacket is unique. I don't.
mhm,
That one stands out. I can see why they might be a little proud of that. That's the one that they brought on stage.
mhm,
Um, I think the ones that I would realistically want to wear would be the I don't know if this one had like Avery Brooks and that
yeah,
Kid Cudi, I would totally buy that because I love Cisco.
mhm.
Um, I
Like I said, the if the Deep Space Nine was the like the crew, the actual crew, and not Kid Cudi.
Yeah, and not someone cosplaying as a captain. Uh,
Yeah,
that's why I always want to refer to when I dress up as in a Starfleet uniform. I'm typically always ensign fathery. I do wear like
yeah.
captain uniforms on occasion, but if anyone ever sees me in a
I'm gonna say
captain's uniform at a convention, it just means that I'm cosplaying as Ensign Fathery, who is such a naughty ensign that he stole the captain's uniform.
I
So
said the only like when I've dressed up as a captain, I'm a specific captain. Like I'm Janeway. I'm not like saying Rachel is a captain.
well, there's been so many women captains. They give you
Yeah,
so many options
yeah.
to cosplay as.
So I said I'm Janeway, Patel. At some point, I was just like, I don't know. I'm gonna throw some gray in my thing. I guess I'm Pike.
We've done pretty well with like
Yeah.
women in Starfleet though. I guess
Yes,
like
this is
overall
true.
to the point to where a friend he's not really my friend. A friend of a friend uh
Um,
who used to be on a Star Trek podcast. Now people can go listen to like all the other Star Trek podcasts, try to figure out who I'm talking about. But this friend of a friend who I'm not friends with, but he didn't really know Star Trek, but he was on a Star Trek podcast, kind of just talking about it as a newcomer to the franchise. And he
mhm.
was actually asking during Discovery and Picard, he was like, "Is that like a standard thing for Starfleet to make all of the higher ups and admirals and stuff women, and have like most of the captains and admirals be women?" Like he honestly thought that was just it was
Um,
majority of women in command I guess there had been several in recent years and
yeah.
he was easily confused.
I was like, nope. They're trying to make up for lost time.
But
Like,
that podcast got a lot better when they
mhm.
stopped having him on it. But
I will ask you things later. That's when we're not on a stream.
I
Um,
would I would unironically want to buy and wear the Gold Key cover shirt, but also not for
I
$100. So
would okay for that shirt. I'd either want it either a cut that would be fit me better,
girly.
or well, just like fit tighter than that would on me, or get it really
Oh
big and
yeah,
put like
that's
put like a belt on it to like
yeah. That
because
shirt's made to hide how fat some guy is. Is
yeah.
is,
I
is what
do
that
have
shirt is
a
for. So
my mom my I have a giant hoodie from the Tokyo Olympics that I wear with like a belt to try and like basically wear it like a dress because it's so big on me.
were you that when that was in
My
2012?
parents were there. I was not. No, sorry, it was like in 2020. No, it was
Oh,
2021.
2012 was London. Oh, yeah,
2012
yeah.
was London, yeah. And so my some of the merch they tried like didn't sell because not as many people could come, and they were selling it really cheap on the base my parents lived at, and there was like it has like a teddy bear on it. It's like Ralph Lauren. Um, uh, it's a very weird, but I was like, I'll make it work. So I wear it with like leggings and just wear it like a giant dress thing, basically. I don't get to wear it that much in Texas, I'll be honest, because it's a giant sweatshirt.
It was nice this morning, Rachel. I don't
Mm.
know if you were up and about this
I
morning, but it was in the 60s. It was
I
so nice. I
was
was
I
so
was I
happy.
was watching the eclipse.
Oh
Speaking of
yeah, I
space
didn't
stuff,
even I didn't know about that until our friend Giraffe from Strange New
yeah,
Pod posted a picture saying, "Oh, my husband woke me up at 8:30 on a
yeah.
Saturday morning to come look at this eclipse." I was like, "Oh,
I
there's an eclipse today, I guess."
well, it was. Oh, you still could have looked at it that because it was at like noon for us, but we did not get a full eclipse. But I got so I'd forgotten about it. My mom reminded me, but I didn't have any of the glasses, so I did that trick. It's like called a pinhole projector. You do like a pin, and you can like
Hmm.
watch the shadow. But then I was doing it in my backyard, and then I heard a bunch of commotion in like the front street, and I was like, "Oh, I bet a bunch of people are like out there watching it." And then some of my one of my neighbors had gotten glasses for their kids, so I was able to put the glasses on for a little bit and
Oh, cool.
look at it. Because
Nice.
I'm just trying not to burn my retinas out. It's always
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Some
yeah.
heads of state don't even comprehend you're not supposed to look directly at a solar
Oh,
eclipse.
I
But
remember that. I was thinking about that when I'm
well,
like,
no one said you had to be intelligent to be
yeah,
elected the ruler of the most
um,
powerful country in the world.
ugh,
Unfortunately.
yeah.
Um, oh, yeah, there's some
Oh,
eclipse talk.
I was also watching NASA had a really cool stream, and they were like going to all the different places, and it was fun watching all the scientists be real nerdy about and like real excited
Yeah,
about.
yeah, they got to geek out
Yeah,
about the eclipse.
I don't know.
DT in
It's
the live chat is
mhm.
saying they couldn't see it because it was too rainy and cloudy where
Oh.
they are.
Um. Okay, now looking at the jacket, could you make the jacket? Could you click on the jacket thing up? Because I'm realizing something. Why are the word Star Trek and that ship the same shade of yellow?
I don't know, but that Star Trek font again. Aaron pointed it out, but that
Mhm.
was something that they pulled from Gold Key. So,
He must really
uh,
like Gold Key comics, I guess.
yeah, or like I've actually made that joke before. That's why I think it's so funny. But like, what
Mhm.
if someone was the joke that I used to make is that like it's so weird to me when people like get so into like these comic book superheroes, but like they don't want to read the comics. They only want to watch like the movies and
Mhm.
stuff. Which I get. Like the comics are like can be a lot to take in,
I
but there's so many like fun little stories out there. To be like if you like Star Trek Gold Key comics, like yeah, it's gonna be like quite different than like the actual shows. But you should
yeah.
probably try one of the shows at one point. Like you might like that too. So I always tell people like if you like the superhero movies,
I was
maybe try some of the comics.
I will say I do as someone who's been like I like this character, but also where do I start? And then people give me 5 million different places to start, and I go I don't know what to do.
But just pick one. Just jump in.
Yeah.
Like, what was the
Mhm.
first Bugs Bunny cartoon you ever like? Where's the good like jumping on point for Bugs Bunny? It's like, oh,
I don't
just
know.
watch some Bugs Bunny shit. Like,
Bugs. I was like, I have no memory of what the first one. Bugs
yeah,
Bunny always existed in my like subconscious somehow.
yeah, we can just do that with other
Mhm.
things too. But it's I think in like the streaming era, which is
Mhm.
interesting. The streaming era has affected a lot of stuff, but I think
Yeah.
it's just people are used to like, oh, I can just start season 1, episode 1. So
Yeah.
okay, and so I think people just want that with everything, um, which makes sense, but that's not always going to be there. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have any
You
other
know,
thoughts
Aaron.
on
I'm betting Aaron. I bet you're right
yeah,
about
Aaron saying
that.
it's just the only approved logo that isn't the standard Trek logo, and the drip plays more to a graffiti artist culture. Yeah, that
Mhm.
does give it a bit of like
Mhm.
an artsy,
Mhm.
I guess, flair to it. But
Like I do aesthetically, I do understand why someone would like the Gold Key comics look cool. The thing that make them weird is they're like Star Trek, and you're like, no, like, um, it'll be yeah. This collection is fascinating
yeah, I've exhausted all the thoughts that I have
about this panel.
on
Yeah.
the Star Trek Universe panel at New York Comic Con 2023. If there's any burning
Hmm.
questions from the live audience, anything y'all want us to point out or try to explain, or yeah, sorry if we're wrapping up like right after you got here, Joanne.
Yeah.
I feel bad if like it's like, hey, Joanne's here, and then everyone's like, okay, well, I guess we're done.
Bye.
So sorry
There's
about
just
that, but
not a ton to talk about. I think that's the problem. I
yeah,
feel like I have more thoughts about the eclipse than I have about the panel.
yeah, it was an awkward time.
Yeah.
Coming out of the strikes with
Hmm.
the industry kind of it was an awkward convention.
Hmm.
Not to the same degree as it sounded like San Diego was. I haven't heard a ton of New York Comic Con, so I'm curious what people thought about it with, there being um the
I
actors strike going on and no actors there, how it was impacted.
I guess it's like at least they had like the Prodigy thing to talk about. So that's actually like a bit of like really good news is like really helpful for something like that. Um, it's interesting because apparently they played the next Lower Decks episode, right?
Right.
I find
Which
it interesting they didn't do the thing they did with Strange New Worlds, where they're like, actually, here it is early.
yeah, they well, I'm glad they didn't put it. Well, I shouldn't say I'm glad. I'm sorry that like the rest of
Yeah.
everyone can't see it now. I know other people are probably like, "Hey, I couldn't go to New York Comic Con, but I wish I could see it."
Mm-hmm.
But we just have to wait till Thursday like
Mm-hmm.
normal. Uh Aaron and I watched our screeners of it
Mm-hmm.
last night, and we'll be covering it Friday. And
Mm-hmm.
Rachel, I'm sure you'll have the first reaction stream discussion
Yep,
on Thursday night.
I
So
will. That is, um, I know. I just find it interesting that they were like this. I do get why they thought the crossover would get spoiled more, but
well, no, it wasn't the crossover; it was the musical. But that was the
the episode they aired early was it was definitely the crossover, right? The
no,
musical,
it was
the
was it the
music,
musical?
the musical aired while we were in Vegas. It was
That's right. That's
yeah.
what I'm. Okay, yeah, yeah, you're right. Okay,
Hmm.
I got my conventions
Yeah, I
mixed
was
up.
like, I
Yes, yes,
see why
yes.
you're like doing it because you were at a convention when the musical episode aired. But um, no, that just I guess the musical episode. I don't think they timed that on purpose because Vegas is not an official convention. But
Yeah. That's why I was surprised when they gave the Prodigy Bros I call them the Prodigy Bros instead of the Hageman Bros. When they gave the Hageman Bros like the clip to show us at
yeah,
Vegas, which I'm glad they did. That was the one thing I guess I would have loved if they had like
more
if they had
Prodigy.
flown, yeah, just fly in like Kevin or Dan, or hell, put Aaron up on stage there. He would gladly go to New
Yeah,
York Comic Con to promote the show. Just like
I
someone from Prodigy to represent Prodigy there. Like they should have
almost
done.
wonder if like the Prodigy like thing just became official like like where it was too hard to like plan like very
Yeah.
recently that it was too hard to plan anything. But yeah, and I maybe Bonnie also would have been great for New
Yeah.
York Comic Con. Or maybe they're like because I would say this is part of showing us that clip in Vegas was definitely to drum up like more like, hey, you want to see the Doctor? Help us save the show.
Yeah. No, and I mean it
Yeah,
worked. It was
it worked. It
yeah.
definitely worked on me. Like,
We should point out how it's kind of amazing that the show found a home within what 3 months. It was like
yeah,
June or July. It was like in the
it was
summer.
June. I'm trying because I was at a different convention than the other two we were just
So
talking about.
less than 4 months. It got canceled from
Mhm.
one streaming service
Yeah.
and then found a home on another one. That's really surprising. I had been saying I didn't think
Mhm.
we would get anything announced until I didn't think it would find a home until maybe like the very end of the year, but I didn't think
Mhm.
it might be announced before the end of the year. I didn't think it would actually appear on a streaming service until 2024, where they're saying, yeah, season 1 is going to be up on Netflix like any day now. It can go up. It
Yeah,
will be online
they
this
just
year.
said this year. Actually, I'm pretty sure I was in a Janeway uniform when I found out that it got about the it getting canceled, which was very weird.
Don't they normally add a lot of shows at the beginning of the like the first of a month? Don't they like add
First
new
and
stuff, take down stuff?
first and end of the month. Not always necessarily for like a new season of something airing, but for like a show that's like, hey, we're just putting this on the
Like
platform.
something like, hey, now we have Star Trek Prodigy.
Yeah.
That'll probably be on a first of so probably November 1st to December
Hmm.
1st. People will be able to stream Prodigy on Netflix.
I was just saying, no, my birthday's at the beginning of November. It'd be a really good, nice gift for me.
Is a Netflix membership.
Um, oh, I just meant Prodigy on there.
Oh.
That's I have.
Yeah, so Netflix put it on there, put it
Mhm.
on there in time for Rachel's birthday. We
Yeah.
could we could do it. We can have a Prodigy marathon at your
Yeah.
birthday. Or at least we could do something else and at least like
Yeah.
put that on one of the TVs
Hmm.
just so it's like so Netflix is like, wow, people are watching the hell out of the show.
People
We should
are,
buy a season 3.
or they would look. Oh, that one person who used to constantly just watch Star Trek on this platform is again watching Star Trek.
Oh yeah. I wonder if like the algorithms, if they remember like the accounts that watched a lot of Star Trek. So now whenever Prodigy comes back, it's gonna be like really pushing that to
Yeah, they're
those
like,
people.
"Hey, nerd, we got some
Yeah.
back."
Like whatever show they watch, the recommendation is gonna be
I
Prodigy.
now like I'm. This is me completely. I wonder if there's anywhere with Netflix getting it. If Netflix was like, "Hey, people used to watch Star Trek on here all the time. Let's get one of them back." And I'm sure the big thing is that the Hagman brothers and Aaron Watke have a good working relationship with Netflix.
Yeah, and they did a lot of work for they did the
Mhm.
Troll Hunters, they did that
Mhm.
Tales of Arcadia. They have like their own
Mhm.
little like shared universe
Yeah.
of all ages shows on there. So
It I'm sure it was like them reaching out to the people like they knew were like,
yeah,
"Hey." And it has definitely seemed it's like the people at that there's a lot of people both at like definitely in Star Trek and at like CBS who were like mad about what happened to Prodigy because otherwise they would not have kept them like not told them to like keep working on season 2.
Stress Free K in the audience is
Mm.
saying, I always felt like they had a plan for Prodigy, but it's good the fandom made a hissy fit over
Yeah.
it. It's like, yeah, the squeaky wheel gets
Mhm.
the grease. Don't be afraid to stand up for yourself
Yeah.
or speak up for what you want,
And
because if
it's
you don't, someone else is going to speak up for what they want, and they're going to
yeah.
be catered to instead of you.
I
So
it's also I uh I think they will think twice before trying to pull something like that again because they're like,
I
oh,
hope
that was
so.
annoying. Like,
I mean, Mike McMahon's trying to be proactive on the
mhm.
lower decks for. I think
Yeah.
he's hoping to get. I think he wants an announcement sometime soon about
Mhm.
like if they're going to order a season 6 or hopefully even a season 7 of Lower Decks so that he can plan that show
I
because
want. I don't like. I hissy fit. I don't think is an actual accurate thing to what we were doing. I'm sure there's someone at Paramount who felt like it was a hissy fit.
no, there. I think that we're having a conversation about
Yeah.
the semantics in there. But is that like a
Yeah.
regional thing, hissy fit? Because Stress Free is asking if Joanne has that in her neck of the woods. I know Joanne's in
Um.
Joanne's
I,
in a southern state. I don't know if she wants me to say what state
mhm.
she's in, but
Well,
Stress Free
she has
K.
says she says a city in there. So
Okay, well she's in Tennessee.
yeah.
Stress Free K. I don't know where you reside. If you
Mhm.
want to let us know your region, I always love finding out where people in the audience are from. But
I would say they used our rights to like make our opinion known is probably a nicer. I've definitely heard yeah, hissy fit
Joel
before.
says they
Mhm.
say hissy fit in Minnesota. Well,
But I guess hissy fit maybe doesn't have the best connotation. But yeah, it's also I feel like it's a showing where like also I as far as I can tell, Star Trek is keeping Paramount Plus afloat. Like
yeah, Taylor Sheridan and Star Trek. So,
mhm.
as the future looks good for Star Trek as far as
Yeah.
like having something in production. I think as long as Paramount Global is going to try to have like their own streaming service with Paramount Plus, and
Mhm.
I think there's always going to be a Star Trek on there.
Mhm.
Um, with them licensing out Prodigy to other streaming services, I don't know. Maybe that will be maybe they'll start doing that with
Yeah.
other stuff. But
I would rather they not because it's I think helpful for like for my convenience and also branding if everything's under one umbrella.
one thing I've noticed is that like Max, which is Warner
Mhm.
Brothers Discovery in the streaming war, everything's gotten so weird. Remember
Yeah.
in the old times, like when television first got started, it was just like ABC, CBS, and
Mhm.
NBC, and now we're talking about like all the Peacock,
Mhm.
Max,
You know what?
Prime.
I will say at least Peacock is named after something from NBC branding. What the fuck is
Un-
Max? Like
it's just the Max. It's the I guess it's the
I'm gonna
maximum.
call it
But
HBO Max and I'm gonna call it Twitter. I don't like. I'm getting too old for this.
I like HBO Max because it wasn't like HBO Plus, because we had
Yeah.
Disney Plus,
Mhm.
Discovery Plus, Paramount Plus. It was like, at least with HBO they did something a little different.
Yeah.
But one thing I've noticed is that there's a lot of HBO content, a lot of like Warner Brothers Discovery content, Warner Brothers movies, New
Mhm.
Line Cinema movies, whatever, that are showing up on other streaming services, that are like showing up on Prime and stuff. And so I'm wondering if maybe with Star Trek, what if you do the legacy shows? What if you start putting them on other platforms and keep the new shows on Paramount Plus, and see if that will keep Star Trek relevant out in the mainstream, but you'll still have something exclusive to P Plus to draw
Mhm.
audiences there. Just throwing it out there. I'm sure there's a lot of people look at this data and plan this stuff
Yeah.
out with more information than I have, but
Well, it's funny because so many people I know discovered Star Trek by randomly been like looking like throwing it on Netflix, and I feel like that's so much less likely to happen with Paramount Plus.
yeah, the majority of people under, I was going to say under 40, but honestly at this point it might even be under 50.
Mhm.
But the majority of like the younger half of the fandom at this point in time seems to be people who really got into Star Trek through streaming.
Mhm. I like that's not how I got into Star Trek, but it's probably how I like kept my love of it alive.
Yeah.
Whereas like I mean I moved around a lot. If it wasn't for like Netflix, I don't know that I would have like I didn't have like a group around me. It was just me and my computer alone like watching it.
Yeah, and I didn't like I came in through Star Trek on the, Berman
Mhm.
era Star Trek when it was on
Yeah.
TV, I guess, but
I mean, I caught it
most
in on my reruns, but
I mean, like with most of my friends, unless you're like a diehard convention goer,
mhm.
hardcore Trekkie who's like on the cruise or goes to Vegas or
Mhm.
something like that. But if you're just like a casual Trek watcher, like chances are you saw the Kelvin timeline movies and then
Mhm.
saw that TNG and the other shows were streaming on Netflix, and then decided to take the dive and get in through the franchise that way.
And
That's
it's
that's like the most common
also so many
story.
of my friends got into it because there was like one of those, oh, Rachel really likes Star Trek. Oh, I'll check this out, but that's so much harder if it's not on a streaming service you already have.
Yeah. The more people seem to have Paramount
Yeah.
Plus now than a few years ago, but
I'll say also because some of my friends just have access to my Paramount Plus account. I need them to never stop with the pass. Like I need them to never try and get on with the password sharing because I share it with just people I know. I'm not being like insane about it. Um, but it's funny. All the I was gonna say I don't even watch. I was gonna say I don't watch anything else on Paramount Plus. That's I watched the Frasier reboot this week. This week, so
oh, nice. I didn't know
yeah,
that was
it's
that
out.
was already streaming. I
Um,
knew you were looking forward to it
yeah,
though. I
it's
saw the trailer for
so
it.
far it's fun. It's like one of those I'm like, this is fun. It's not as good as the original show. Like most of them aren't.
Mm,
It is fun and it's got some fun dynamics that with like the new cast members, even though part of me is also like, but where is Niles? Um
well,
See the problem most of my friends are nerds, so I can be like, hey, this you like this other nerdy thing? I think you would also like my nerdy thing.
it's fun. I love Star Trek so much,
Hmm.
but I'm just so used to like no one else in my life likes it. I really never try to. I mean, I talk
I would
about it
say,
sometimes with people because, like, I tell them like I
yeah.
do like a podcast, and,
Hmm.
we stream on YouTube and all this stuff. But like, I never really try to sell
I
Star
would
Trek to
say
people. Maybe I should. Maybe I should
maybe
become
I
more of an advocate for Star
don't
Trek.
really like. I have an online friend group that I've known for like a decade, and I know them through like nerdy stuff like Harry Potter and like specifically like Star Kid stuff, which is like Harry Potter musical. And so it's kind of one of those we're already talking about a nerdy thing, so I'm like, do you also like this other nerdy thing that I really like? And some of them were like, I do, or some of them were like, I haven't checked that out, and I'm like, I'll check out your thing that you really like if you check out my thing I really like.
Hmm. That's fun. I need more nerdy friends
Mhm.
then.
Yeah.
So, I'll
It's
talk to
fun.
some people to
Yeah.
check out Star
Yeah.
Trek. But then I have to watch their nerdy stuff, and I probably don't want. There's probably a reason why I don't watch their thing.
Well, once someone was like, "Watch Doctor Who with me," and I was like, "I already watched Doctor Who," and they're like, "Great!" Like,
Oh yeah, you're already done. So yeah,
yeah.
I already am. So, but yeah. Well,
Mhm.
hopefully, we have some exciting stuff to talk about soon. Though we still have
Mhm.
3 episodes of Lower Decks. We have the episode they shared today. Is
Yeah.
called Caves. I guess we can. It's like out. It's out in the public. They've shown it to some people. So
Yeah.
we'll be covering
I.
Caves this week, and then we have 2 episodes that we're thinking. No one's seen it yet. They haven't sent out screeners or anything, but we're thinking that the
Ooh.
last two.
That's probably the mystery box then, right? Like,
I
if
mean, we're just
this is us
speculating
speculating.
it might be a two-parter, but that's just I'm just
Yeah.
guessing because it's 2 episodes, it's a season finale.
Mhm.
They ended the last season with a
Yeah.
two-parter,
This
so
is us speculating with no actual knowledge, like more than anybody else knows.
right. But
And,
uh, that's potentially exciting.
mhm.
We'll see
Mhm.
whatever happens, but there's potentially
Yeah, they
something
still haven't.
big happening.
They haven't sent those screeners out at all, have they?
No, but they
Interesting.
will soon.
Yeah.
So they um. But whatever happens, we'll be
Mhm.
covering it on the channel
Yeah.
on the podcast. So be sure that you subscribe to the channel so you can catch like these types of streams that we do. If this brought you here for the first time, so if that's the
Mhm.
case, sorry we didn't have like other stuff to talk about other than like
Sorry,
expensive shirts. But
sorry. The New York Comic Con was kind of a bust.
we'll be talking about like an actual episode of Star Trek
Hmm.
in a few days though. So be sure to come back for
Those
that, or you
those
can
are really
listen.
fun. Like, yeah.
Yeah, you can listen to the podcast also, and look up Drawn to Trek because there's some fun stuff on there that
Yes.
I'm currently been collaborating with releasing the Lower Decks coverage on Tex-Trek and Drawn to Trek. So, and with Prodigy on the horizon, there's going to be another animated show to talk about soon. Of course, we're getting the final season of Discovery next year. We're getting season 5, which may or may not be the final season of Lower Decks. That's still up in the air, but it will be a season of Lower Decks next year. And Strange New Worlds at some point, whenever they're allowed to shoot again.
Whatever. Whenever they will actually, pay the actors and like
Yeah.
not oh my
That
like and not try to make creepy AI puppets of them.
Yeah, but I think we won that fight, so it's a
Yeah.
matter of time. They gotta dot the
Wait.
I's, cross the T's, and
Did you see that clip that was going around Twitter of that Disney movie where that Disney Plus movie where they did put like a row of AI extras?
mm-mm.
They are creepy as hell. Like
Oh,
it
you have
looked
to send
real
that to
bad.
me.
Like I'll need to see if I can find it. I'm sure I can.
But hope everyone else
Mhm.
has a good rest of y'all's weekend, and take care, and be sure to come back Thursday for Rachel's
Yeah.
first reaction stream,
Hmm.
and then come back Friday for me and Aaron on the deep dive
Come for
discussion.
a Star Trek discussion and maybe stay for random chaos.
Until next time, as always, live long and prosper, y'all.